Hello there folks, my name's Ben and this is a shots fired airsoft video, and this is the review of the Cyma CM.701B sniper rifle. So in this video we will cover things like the firing performance, and there's a 70-75 meter range test which I have some footage of, and we'll also have a quick look at chrono readings. Most of the stuff that I've already looked at with this gun is in the other video of this, which is the unboxing. It's a fairly simple weapon, there isn't really too much to talk about. With that said, let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is the chrono performance of the Cyma. As you'll see here, we have quite a powerful weapon on our hands. This is completely stock out of the box on 0.2s, and we're hitting around 485, and this is after I fired it for the firing test. Probably fired it about 150 times, so the springs had a little bit of time to settle down. And if you run it on 0.36s like I did for the firing tests, Jeff Precision BBs, you'll see we're still striking out there around 350 FPS. Now I would like to mention that this is probably a bit too hot to use in gameplay. I know my local outdoor field pretty much says 450s max. So we're still 35 FPS, and I don't think the spring is going to lose any more of its edge. So to actually use this in a field, you would probably actually have to put in a slightly lighter weight spring, but that's not the end of the world to do in these. So, but yes, very powerful out the box. Certainly doesn't need any power upgrades. And with that said, let's move on a bit to the firing test. I'd just like to say I didn't have any misfeeds, malfunctions. The magazines worked fantastically well. So 50 rounds you can handle in these. You get 3 of them in the box, so there's your 150 rounds to take into an airsoft game, which for a sniper rifle is fantastic without having to carry any extra ammo. So I'm just going to start with a little picture of the area that I was shooting in, and it is worth saying that on this particular day it was quite windy. It would have been ideal to film the shooting test the day before. Unfortunately I was at work, but we still had the fantastic sunshine the next day. Unfortunately it wasn't quite as settled as it was, so a lot of the shots are affected by wind. I would also like to add a little disclaimer that I am not a range specialist when it comes to guns. Things this long don't fit in the CQB. I am not used to setting up scopes, neither am I used to firing at range, or really having to set a hop up to strike out over this sort of range. Again, the range that we're shooting over here is 70-ish meters. I say ish because it's kind of difficult to measure that distance. However, the solar array in the picture that I just put up on the screen is about 65 meters long, and I was stood probably 5 meters back from that, and the target was slightly past the end of the solar array. So we are looking at a minimum of 70 meters, or possibly even closer to 75. And this is the setup we use for the firing test. So obviously completely stock Cyma 701B. We've got the Exelvan scope and a pack of super precision Jeff's BBs in a 0.36 gram weight. That's also what I use for the 0.36 chronograph. So we're launching these downrange at about 350 FPS. So that's a lot of weight, moving pretty fast. So here we go with the firing test. First shot we make it onto the target, which is fantastic. Like I said, I'm counting hits on the box as well as the target. As you'll see, we make numerous hits on the box. I think we missed 2 shots on this, but as you can see, the target's moving around. It is actually relatively windy out there. The fantastic thing about this is it's really quite consistent. When I do miss the box, I'm missing it by an inch or 2. There's every chance that you would have hit a limb or anything on a person if you're in gameplay. And just having said that you're not hitting coke cans at this kind of distance, the last shot that I take in this particular bit of firing footage, yes, you absolutely would have hit the can you're aiming at 75-ish meters. So the firing test speaks for itself. We have an inexperienced sniper who isn't used to setting up a scope and doesn't really use these in gameplay. I was asked to review a bolt action airsoft rifle, so I went for one that I knew from previous reading and all that was pretty good out of the box, and I do think this Cyma 701B for the money is probably one of the best sniper rifles you're likely to find. Of course, it's quite possible to go and spend £500 and £700 on a sniper rifle, but really when these are hitting like these do, and the VSR 10 is one of the most affordable and moddable sniper rifles on the planet, you can make this a lot better with a few very simple mods to the hop up. And I really don't see an issue unless you particularly are bothered about realism, markings, trades, all that sort of stuff, of going much further than this for sniper gameplay. If you know what you're doing with this, then you can snipe with the best of them, particularly with a few small modifications. The only thing that really comes a bit of a shortcoming with this is it is very simple. There's no other rails or anything other than the top rail. Again, as I said in the unboxing, you do have a 20mm thread in the front if you wish to put an adapter in there to use 14mm counterclockwise accessories such as tracers, silencers, etc. Apart from that, you've got a rubberized buttstock, and that's about your lot. However, I don't think that's the end of the world for this, particularly for the money. Now, one of the things I never touched on in the original unboxing was weight, and it is quite an important thing for a sniper rifle. You're going to be running around all day with this. So if like there's some of the Scale L96 replicas weigh upwards of 4 kilograms before you put a scope on them, this is half that weight at around 2.2 kilograms. If you take the scope that I was using in the shooting test and add that to it, you're looking at under 3 kilograms for the scope and the rifle. Obviously it's quite a heavy scope, weighs about 650 grams, about £1.50 on its own. But as an all-up weight, 2.8 kilograms for a scope and a rifle really isn't that bad. So again, something else to take into consideration when you're buying a rifle. So just to wrap things up, I've been Ben, this is the Shots Fired Airsoft video, and this has been the review of a very impressive Cyma 701B sniper rifle. These are available from £100 to £130 depending on where you purchase them from and also what spec you purchase them in. There are models that have iron sights on, so that when you don't necessarily have to use a scope. However, let's face it, one of these rifles without scope is kind of pointless because you are sending ammo at a distance at which iron sights probably aren't going to help you much. You need to see where your BBs are going. Like, comment, subscribe, dislike, whatever you want to do. Open all ears and opinions. Anyone who's owned one of these, let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on it. And little videos coming up. Got the Golden Eagle range of gas shotguns, which I have 2 of, just to review and do an overview of. And I also have a Boneyard Cyma 132S, I believe it is, which is the AEP pistol. But it's actually requires repair, so I'm hoping to do a repair video on it, and then also do a review of the actual pistol. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.